kind homeless man returns a wallet to an old man, not knowing he was a wealthy billionaire. Imagine this. You're walking down a cold, lonely street with nothing in your pockets, no food, no shelter, no hope. Suddenly, you find a wallet filled with money, cards, and a golden key. What would you do? Most might see it as a miracle, but what if returning it changed your entire life forever? Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who believes in kindness, and subscribe to our channel, Heart of Humanity, where real stories remind us that compassion still exists in this world. It was a freezing winter morning in the city. The streets were still wet from the night's rain, and the cold air bit through layers of worn-out clothes. Among the quiet alleys, under a broken street lamp, sat Ethan, a homeless man in his late 30s. Once, he had dreams, a job, a family, a small apartment, but life had slowly stripped those away. Bad luck, layoffs, and illness had left him with nothing but an old jacket and a cardboard sign that read, "Still believe in kindness." Ethan didn't beg much. He mostly smiled at people passing by, hoping for a nod or a warm word. He believed kindness could still be found, even if the world had forgotten him. That morning, as he walked toward a nearby bakery hoping to get leftover bread, something caught his eye, a leather wallet, lying half buried in slush near the curb. It looked expensive, the kind rich businessman carried. He hesitated, then picked it up. Inside, there were several $100s, a black credit card, an ID, and a photo of an old man standing with his family in front of a mansion. The name on the card read, Arthur B. Collins. Ethan's stomach growled. The money could easily buy him meals, a coat, maybe even a room for a week. But deep down, something stopped him. "This isn't mine," he whispered. Instead of keeping it, he walked to a small police outpost to return it. But the officer at the desk barely looked up. "We'll handle it," he said lazily. Ethan could tell by the man's tone that the wallet might never reach its owner. So Ethan made a decision. He would find Arthur Collins himself. He spent hours walking through the city, following the address on a business card tucked inside the wallet, Collins Enterprises, downtown Tower. He arrived at a tall glass building, feeling out of place in his torn coat. The receptionist frowned when she saw him. I found this wallet," Ethan stammered. "It belongs to Mr. Arthur Collins." The woman hesitated, eyeing him suspiciously, then made a call. Moments later, an elderly man in a gray suit appeared, walking slowly with a cane. His expression was weary, but when he saw the wallet, his eyes widened. "You found this? Where?" Arthur asked softly. Ethan explained everything, how he'd found it in the street and spent all day trying to return it. The old man listened in silence. When Ethan handed the wallet back, Arthur's hands trembled. "Do you know," he said, "how many people would have just taken the money and disappeared?" Ethan smiled faintly. "Maybe they would, sir. But I've lost everything before. I know what it feels like when something that belongs to you is gone. I couldn't do that to anyone." Arthur stared at him for a long moment. Then, he took a deep breath. "You're a rare soul, son. Come with me." They went to a nearby cafe. For the first time in months, Ethan sat at a table with a hot meal in front of him. Arthur asked about his life, and Ethan shared his story, how he lost his job, how his mother's medical bills had drained his savings, how he ended up on the streets after she passed away. Yet through it all, he said, "I never stopped believing that good people still exist." Arthur looked down, visibly moved. "You remind me of my son," he whispered. "He passed away years ago. He had your kindness, your honesty." The next day, Arthur asked Ethan to meet him again. This time, a black car arrived to pick him up. Ethan thought it must be a mistake. But when he reached Arthur's mansion, the billionaire himself welcomed him like family. "I've been thinking about what you did," Arthur said. "Most people would have seen that wallet as luck. But you saw it as a test of character. And you passed it with heart." Arthur smiled warmly. "I want to give you something. Not as charity, but as a new beginning. He handed Ethan a small envelope. Inside was a job offer letter, a position at one of Arthur's companies. Along with it was a key. That's to a small apartment nearby. You deserve a second chance. Ethan was speechless. His eyes filled with tears as he whispered, "Why me?" Arthur replied softly, "Because sometimes, the kindest people are the ones who've had the least. You returned something valuable to me, Ethan, but what you really gave back was hope." Months later, Ethan was working full-time, living in his own place, and even helping other homeless people find jobs through a program Arthur helped him start. One day, as he looked out over the city, he remembered that freezing morning, and how one simple act of honesty changed everything. He smiled and whispered, "Kindness always finds its way back." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment about what kindness means to you, and subscribe to Heart of Humanity. Because every act of kindness, no matter how small, can create a ripple that changes the world.